Hi guys, rachybop here.
Thank you so much to EA for sending me a code to review my first pet stuff early for you guys.
You may have seen my tweets on Twitter. I was rather bitter, and this poem ends there. DLC for DLC, but is it though? So when they first announced this pack, it specifically stated requires the Sims 4 Cats and Dogs expansion pack. It does not need that to play. It doesn't require it. It's great if you have it because it has outfits in the pack, but it's not a necessity. It has outfits for your cats and dogs and things in the pack that they might want to use, like a litter box, that kind of thing. You can still place those objects in your home. Granted, you can't use them, but there's plenty of other stuff. So it would still be worth you buying the pack for the other stuff, even if you didn't have cats and dogs, and it will still function. And you can play with the stuff that isn't aimed at cats and dogs. I just don't know why they've chosen that wording. I don't know why they've even put the cats and dogs stuff in there. To be honest, I think that is the worst decision in the history of The Sims 4 and really lets the pack down. So you might be surprised with what I'm going to say in this review from what I've tweeted. So I spent a lot of time playing this, more than I've ever spent playing any stuff pack ever, because it just kept on going and going. There are new clothes and new hairstyles, not many at all, but the hairstyles, for example, that are in there are absolutely stunning and definitely stand out. There's annoying little things like there's a new t-shirt but there's no new trousers. It's all kind of designed around little hamsters and cats and things, so it's not really great for Cass. There's like 5 cat outfits. There's more things for dogs, but there's more for larger dogs than there is for medium and small dogs. I decided after watching the live stream on Friday that I would create a vampire sim and play as a vampire, which came in a previous pack, and because I just wanted to see the progression. So this is kind of a walkthrough of what I did in game, and I'm going to review it as I go along. So the kids had t-shirts and onesies in Create Sim. The toddlers had just a little hat. Not really great for people who like Create Sim. The styled rooms were okay. Really great way to get the new items into your house quickly. The dog doors, absolutely awesome. I love those a lot. All the items are actually really beautifully made and really do stand out, and I found myself watching the live stream just being completely enthralled and giggling along and just going oh at everything, because I really wanted to hate this pack, but it's actually really good. Most of the stuff in Cass was for cats and dogs, so that's definitely something to bear in mind, but there's also a lot of stuff if you don't have cats and dogs. So I would still say it's worth getting without cats and dogs for sure. It's definitely a great pack if you like playing a full family and you have children in your family. It's definitely going to be a really great pack to have a kid's room with this little animal in the corner. The art in the pack really made me smile. It's just beautiful. There's like a round fish table, and it's not interactive or anything like that, just kind of sits there, but it's such a beautiful round large coffee table with fish swimming around in it. It's really calming and such a lovely object. The hamsters are so cute. So you can get a hamster, a rat, a hedgehog, or a bubulus, which is like a void critter inspired genetically modified rodent. And I got a bubulus, and you can rename them. So I called mine Flammabubulus, and the cage that you get determines the animal. I found that quite weird. I don't know why that is. It must be something way beyond my understanding, because the cages look the same. I guess it's maybe easier for them to code if they just show 4 cages for 4 different animals, and then they don't change anything in them. All the animations are the same, all the messages that you get are the same. I guess that somewhere along the line it saved them a lot of work doing it that way. Amongst other interactions, you can also release the small rodent, so that'd be really great for storytelling. You can just go and get the naughty little brother to release the hamster that was his sister's favourite creature. All you need to do to see the rodent's needs is just hover over the cage. This is so useful and would have been so great for cats and dogs. You can feed them treats, you can play with them, you can talk to them, and it's just beyond cute to watch. And also the dog, I didn't try playing with a cat, and this is the thing, I was playing for hours and there's still so much to do. I played with a dog in my family called Fidget, and Fidget would sit and stare at Flammabubblers and they would love each other and chat to each other, and it's just really cute, and it helped the attention needs of Flammabubblers as well. It felt like a really full experience, and even if you were panning away from the rodent cage to go do something else, you could kind of see the little rodent in the background doing something cute, whizzing around on its wheel, launching up in a rocket, just really cute. And also you can never really miss when the rodent needed attention, because it would come to the front of the cage and sort of ask for it, and my Sims were always drawn to the cage. They spent most of their time there until I put a computer in, and then they were very distracted by that, so I ended up selling it. But when just the cage was there, they were always drawn to it. If the cage was dirty, they would clean it. So I did eventually take away the door so that they couldn't clean it, because I wanted to see what rabid rodent fever was like at the expense of my vampire sim. We'll get to that later. So I did have a rocket launch, you'll see in the trailer. These rodents live like a secret life. They get all kinds of messages and they get up to all sorts, and one of them is they go and they launch up into space on a rocket. This happened twice within the space of a few hours for me, and I missed it both times. I could hear it whizzing off and I got the message, but I missed it. There's some really cute buffs as well that pop up, so keep your eyes on those if you do get the pack. The food and the habitat condition last forever. It's not something that constantly needs attention. It's really not that big of a chore. And also there's a really cool interaction for kids. They can do like a special assignment if you have a cage put down. So that's another thing to try, another thing that I didn't yet get to try. I mean, how great is that for a stuff pack to still have things left to do after playing for hours? I even found that my sim would automatically just go and clean the cage, which was great. But that may depend on the trait of the Sims. If they're a slob, they're probably not going to do that. When I actually saved and then came back to my game after a few hours, and one of my Sims had got trapped behind one of the new chairs. I don't know how that happened. Like, it's a styled room, so I don't know what happened there, but I guess that's a little bit of a glitch, so just watch out for that. Make sure your sim doesn't get trapped behind anything. You don't want them to die in a pile of their urine. Pile of urine? There's no limit to the rodents you can have, so you could do a 100 rodent challenge if you want to, but keeping on top of their needs may become a little bit challenging at that point. You get cute little notices all the time of things that they're doing in their life. I got a space rock sent to me from my rodent when he'd been in space, which was pretty cool. So, rodent fever. I've left my Flammabubblers' cage to get very stinky. I sent my vampire sim in. Her name is Liana, and she played with Flammabubblers. Flammabubblers bit her, and she contracted rabid rodent fever. Adult Sims can get it, pregnant Sims can get it, elder Sims I presume can get it, but not children or younger. You will get warnings, you will get buffs, you will be able to tell when your Sim is getting sick, and there's like 3 stages. It lasts a long time, so don't panic. It's not going to wipe out the Sim straight away. It is highly contagious, but it's also fixable. You can use the computer to research rabid rodent fever and then order the medicine to drink once you've done that. I didn't want to do that for this first Sim. I wanted her to die. And she just got pregnant, so it was the perfect experiment. She was coughing, she was sneezing, she was going all dizzy. It was really obvious that she was suffering. But I felt like it was another great chance for storytelling. It could be like him saying, "No, you're fine, it's probably just the pregnancy," when actually she's dying because she's been bitten by a cute little bubbleless. And meanwhile, Flammabubblers is sending us book royalties that is earned under a pseudonym, as one does. So at the point that my Sim became contagious, I had her head off to hospital to give birth, probably infecting everybody there. At this point she had 23 hours to live. The baby can't be born with this disease, can't catch this disease, so it's all good. It's a great way to pass on the family legacy and destroy the mother at the same time. On Mother's Day I'm filming this. Then her husband Dax got it from her, but he was wise enough to research it, buy the medicine and inoculate himself. You can either inoculate or you can just treat the current strain. So he is now completely immune. Leanna's needs are depleting very fast because of the disease, and she's still able to do things, but she's taking her a lot longer. And Flammabubblus has meanwhile sent us a postcard. It took a while before I got any postcards, but he went off on his holidays, sent us a postcard which you can find in the family inventory, place on the little corkboard on the front of the cage, and then enable an emotional aura to keep everybody inspired when they're near the cage. A great demonstration of how to use the game engine to the max. I love that. Leanna's death was a very dramatic death. And Grim even seemed to go and thank the rodent after he'd taken her body. By this point my rodent is getting old and I got a warning saying that my rodent will die soon. So you can actually go on the computer and order rodent treats that have certain things, like you can make them live forever, or you can even like disable their IQ or lower their IQ so they won't do all these like rocket launches and all that kind of thing. They'll just be a basic rodent. So if that's the story you want to tell, you can do that too. I then stuck around to wait for my ghost vampire rodent lady, and she came back. She was very freaky looking with the freaky face, holes in the neck, really weird, and probably the most disturbing walk to a woohoo I've ever seen. At this point Flammabubblus has now died. If I purchase a rodent in Flammabubblus' cage, I would just get a Bubblus, so I had to get the hedgehog cage to get the hedgehog. I then managed to get Leanna to move back into the household, interact with the hedgehog, and everything goes full circle once again. It was a fully enjoyable gameplay experience. I didn't find the game letting me down at all. I felt like it was fully bulked out. This so far has been the most enjoyable pack for me, and that is a big deal for me to say after hating this so much, the way they marketed it. I think that was a huge mistake, and I think some people will have already pushed aside any thought of even buying this, and I absolutely understand that, because I was planning to say in this video we need to not buy this pack because we don't want to encourage DLC for DLC, we don't want to encourage splitting packs. This could have been in The Sims 4 Cats and Dogs. It could. That's probably why they called it Cats and Dogs and not Pets. But as a standalone pack, I think it's awesome. I think they definitely should have left the Cats and Dogs stuff with Cats and Dogs. There was no need to overlap it. The only need for them to overlap the packs was for more money, it was for more incentive for people to buy the pack. You get a lot of content, a lot of gameplay for $10. As a stuff pack, this way outplays any stuff pack I've played before. But the way they've presented it is ridiculous and an obvious money grab, and that is such a shame. It lets down the entire team, the entire creativity level of the pack, and something needs to be done about the way that they're presenting stuff. I think we've all been very vocal about that, and hopefully they're listening. I'm going to give this pack a 5 big fat moves. I'm going to give EA's presentation and marketing of the pack 0 big fat moves. I think this is the worst marketing decision ever, but the best and creative and gameplay pack I've ever seen as well. It's their saving grace that this pack is so strong, but something desperately needs to change about how they present content moving forward. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'm going to be streaming this on Twitch at some point today, twitch.tv/rachybop. Go follow me over there to be notified when I go live. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!